there, and welcome to the Nighttime Knowledge Channel. I'm so glad you found your way here. Perhaps you've had a long day, or perhaps you simply enjoy drifting off to gentle thoughts of nature, mysteries, and quiet science. Either way, tonight's journey is for you. Tonight, we will wander slowly into the secretive, magical world of mushrooms. Not the ones you see on a plate, but the silent marvels of forests and fields, quietly working beneath leaves, soil, and fallen logs. They grow in shadows, they glow in darkness, and they hold stories older than we often realize. As you listen, let your body relax. Let your mind soften. Breathe slowly. Imagine walking along a misty forest floor, each step light, each sound faint, each leaf trembling with a whisper of life. We are about to enter a hidden kingdom, one of spores, mycelium, and delicate growth that continues whether we are awake or asleep. Mushrooms are the visible part of a far larger network beneath the surface. Mycelium, thin and thread-like, stretches for miles underground, connecting trees and plants in ways that science is only beginning to understand. It is a web of life, quiet, patient, and complex, moving nutrients, water, and even messages between plants. As you drift with me tonight, we will explore the science behind their growth, their strange and beautiful adaptations, and even their subtle effects on humans. We'll see how they communicate, how they feed, and how they help the forest breathe. And just perhaps, you will feel yourself slowly merging with this calm rhythm, like another quiet witness to the life of the earth. Some mushrooms glow softly at night, bioluminescent lights twinkling like stars fallen into the moss. Others wait patiently, releasing spores to drift on the wind, spreading life quietly over miles, unseen but profoundly important. Even in their stillness, they are constantly moving, creating, and connecting. Tonight, as your body sinks deeper into relaxation, we will learn about these hidden wonders, their stories, and their gentle science. We will drift through forests and fields, tracing the quiet miracles that unfold beneath our feet, beyond our immediate perception, but entirely part of the world we live in. So take a slow breath and let us begin. As we continue, let us move gently from the surface of the forest floor to the intricate networks hidden beneath. Mushrooms, though delicate and fleeting above ground, are only the visible tip of a vast interconnected system. Their roots, or rather their mycelium, stretch unseen through soil, decaying wood, and leaf litter, sometimes for miles. These threads of life, white and silky, connect trees, plants, and fungi alike, forming a hidden web of communication, of nutrients flowing silently from one organism to another. When a mushroom releases its spores, it is sending out tiny seeds of possibility. Each spore, no larger than a speck of dust, contains the blueprint for a new life, a new connection, a continuation of a cycle that has been happening for millions of years. Carried by the wind, clinging to animals, or drifting in water, these spores settle in quiet places, waiting patiently for the right conditions: moisture, warmth, darkness, and time. And time is a crucial partner. Mushrooms do not rush. They unfold slowly, deliberately, following rhythms that humans cannot always perceive. Some may appear overnight, sudden and magical, like a whispered secret of the forest. Others may grow gradually, pushing through soil and leaf litter, over days, weeks, or even months. Their pace is gentle, their presence quiet, yet essential. The mycelium below the surface is older than the mushrooms themselves. It is the hidden architect of ecosystems, breaking down fallen leaves, dead wood, and other organic matter, recycling nutrients into forms plants can use. Some researchers have discovered mycelium networks that span hundreds of acres, connecting forests in ways that are almost invisible, yet undeniably present. It is a quiet intelligence, a patient engineering of life itself, occurring beneath our feet while we sleep. Many mushrooms are bioluminescent, glowing softly in dark forests, as if echoing the stars above. This gentle light is not for humans but for insects, helping them spread spores and continue the cycle of life. Each glow, faint yet persistent, is a reminder of the unseen rhythms of nature, the silent work of survival and connection that goes on long before we notice it. Even the shape and color of mushrooms are purposeful. Some are round, some frilled, some tall and spindly. Some hide beneath leaves, camouflaging themselves from creatures that would eat them, while others display bright colors as warnings or invitations. Every structure, every hue, is part of a delicate balance, a conversation with the environment that has been refined over millions of years. Certain species, like the reishi or lion's mane, have long been known for their calming properties. Humans have discovered their effects on the nervous system, using them to soothe, relax, and encourage rest. Their bioactive compounds interact with the body gently, subtly supporting sleep and quiet reflection. Even in our own lives, these quiet fungi remind us of the connection between nature and the rhythms of rest. As you listen, let your thoughts drift like spores on the wind. Imagine walking through a forest at twilight, where every mushroom, every patch of moss, every fallen leaf participates in a slow, silent symphony. Each breath you take mirrors the quiet work of life around you, a rhythm of growth, decay, and renewal that has been occurring for longer than humans have walked the earth. The life of a mushroom is a story of patience, of silent communication, of unseen intelligence. And tonight, you are part of that story, observing, resting, and joining the quiet flow of the forest as it carries on, whether we notice or not. Some of the most astonishing stories of the fungal world are not just about shape or color, but about scale. How a single organism can be both small and enormous, both hidden and everywhere. There is a fungus, for example, that stretches beneath whole forests, a single mycelial individual that covers acres of earth. Scientists have called such organisms among the largest living things on the planet. Imagine a single silent body beneath the forest floor, older than the trees above it in some places, slowly moving nutrients and subtly shaping the life of the woodlands over years, decades, centuries. Its growth is not loud. It is the long breath of the earth. These vast mycelial networks remind us that life takes many forms, where animals carry their homes with them or build them from external materials. Fungi construct their world by weaving and unweaving the substrate beneath their feet. Mycelium explores the soil like a soft, patient intelligence, probing, tasting, adjusting. It detects pockets of nutrients and moisture. It senses chemical warning signals from roots and neighboring organisms. To some researchers, The mycelium resembles a kind of sensory skin for the forest, a distributed system that collects information and balances the needs of the whole. This web of threads also plays a quiet role in the global cycles of carbon and nutrients. When a tree falls, mycelium is often the first to arrive. It secretes enzymes that dissolve complex molecules in wood, turning what was once solid and bound into simpler compounds that can be taken up by plants or stored as soil organic matter. This decomposition is not a destruction, but a transformation, a patient recycling, making room for new growth. In this way, fungi help soils store carbon and support plant life, participating in the long, slow work of worlds renewing themselves. Some fungi have evolved surprising partnerships with animals. Leafcutter ants, small and tireless, carry pieces of leaves into underground gardens. There, within their nests, they cultivate fungal crops, a domestic partnership that has lasted millions of years. The ants tend, prune, and protect their fungus. The fungus, in turn, produces nutrient-rich structures the ants eat. It is a civilization built on fungal labor, an example of how cooperation can shape ecosystems in silent, intricate ways. In another corner of the natural theater, certain beetles and termites likewise farm mushroom gardens. They collect wood, process it, and provide precisely the conditions their fungal partners need. These miniature farms are exquisite examples of mutual dependence. Insect knowledge shaping fungal production, and fungal chemistry shaping insect survival. Human cultures, too, have long recognized the power of fungi. In East Asia, reishi mushrooms have been used for centuries as calming tonics and restorative extracts. Lion's mane has been studied more recently for compounds that appear to encourage nerve growth factors and support cognitive resilience. These effects are subtle and slow, not dramatic sparks, but they capture something essential. Fungi produce molecules that interact with human biology in useful, complex ways. Modern science has been exploring these molecules in new ways. Researchers look at psilocybin not as a recreational curiosity, but as a tool in controlled therapy, a possible aid for people wrestling with trauma, depression, or addiction. When used under careful conditions, the compound appears to loosen the rigid patterns of thought and allow new perspectives to emerge. The work is precise and cautious. It is not about escape. It is about new room for insight, held within careful clinical practice. The fact that such potent chemistry exists in small, quiet mushrooms reminds us how much the natural world still holds to be understood. There is another remarkable field where fungi are quietly changing human technique: mycofabrication. By growing mycelium in molds, innovators produce materials that can replace plastics, foams, and even leather. These fungal products are lightweight, biodegradable, and often surprisingly strong. Architects and designers experiment with mushroom bricks and insulation, imagining structures that age gracefully, that return nutrients to the soil at the end of life. The idea is gentle. Let the building be part of a cycle, not a permanent scar. It is practical, but it also feels poetic. Structures grown like gardens, rather than carved from stone. fungi can also help clean the world. Mycoremediation uses fungal enzymes to break down pollutants, from petroleum compounds to certain persistent chemicals. Mycelium secretes a cocktail of enzymes and acids that modify complex molecules into simpler forms. In sites of contamination, specially selected fungi can pull apart substances that would otherwise linger in soil for generations. This is not a quick fix. It is patient remediation, done by organisms that have been transforming matter since the earliest forests. Some mushrooms are bioluminescent. They glow because of chemical reactions, much like the biochemistry behind the light of fireflies or deep-sea organisms. A protein and a molecule interact. Energy is released as soft light. The glow may be faint, often a tender green or blue, but seen in a dark forest, it has an almost uncanny beauty. For small insects and spores and unseen animals, that glow is part of an ecological conversation, attraction, dispersal, possibility. For us, observing it evokes a sense of wonder. Imagine a mossy bank, dotted with tiny lanterns, each one a patient signal into the night. There are also fungi that live in partnership with algae or cyanobacteria, lichens, that cover rocks and trees in delicate crusts of color. Lichens can survive where most life cannot, in high mountains, on cold rocks, in deserts. Their slow growth and resilience make them quiet testaments to adaptation. Lichen communities are layered and textured and often carry within them chemical stories of their environments, absorbing minerals and weathering the world one thin growth ring at a time. Consider the seasonal rhythm of fungi. In the hush after autumn rains, when the air is cool and the ground is moist, mushrooms often fruit in abundance. The forest floor, usually quiet, transforms into a labyrinth of caps and stems, a temporary festival of life. This seasonal timing is tuned to moisture, temperature, and the cycles of plants and animals. Each fruiting body is a promise, spores released, a chance for the lineage to continue. And then, in colder months, mycelium retreats or slows, holding its presence like a sleeping embryo, awaiting the right time to return. From a human perspective, the fungal kingdom also offers lessons about patience and interdependence. Where modern life often prizes speed and immediacy, fungi remind us of slower temporalities, processes that unfold over weeks, seasons, and years. They teach a kind of humility. A log may take decades to turn into soil. A mycelial mat may encircle a tree for centuries. These slow acts accumulate into landscapes. They shape the possibilities for life in ways that are seldom dramatic, but fundamentally sustaining. There are practical safety notes to keep in mind as you wander through thoughts of mushrooms. Not every mushroom is friendly to humans. Many are edible, nourishing, and delicious. Others are toxic, sometimes dangerously so. The knowledge of species requires care, experience, and often a teacher. For your own safety, respect the forest and its inhabitants. Admire from a distance, learn responsibly, and honor the delicate balance of these ecosystems. There are also tales of fungi that seem almost fantastical. Fungi that parasitize insects and alter their behavior, guiding them to specific locations where spores spread most effectively. Fungi that produce compounds, once only associated with higher organisms. The more scientists look, the more they discover networks of interplay, chemical dialogues, mutual aid, and sometimes elegant cruelty. The fungal world is neither purely benevolent nor malevolent. It is pragmatic, efficient, and beautifully indifferent to human stories, except when those stories cross its way. In laboratories, researchers study fungal genomes and metabolic pathways, mapping how these organisms synthesize complex molecules. In fields and forests, citizen scientists document fruiting times, their observations adding valuable data about how climate and human activity change the timing and distribution of species. These combined efforts, lab and woodland alike, help us understand resilience, which fungi adapt, which decline, and how the broader web of life responds. As you listen, imagine one thread of mycelium beneath you, a soft white filament extending outward, tasting the soil for nutrients. Picture it pausing at a root, exchanging sugars for minerals. Picture spores lifting into the air, like tiny dandelion seeds, tumbling in the dark, carried by wind or by the gentlest brush of a passing animal. Each of these little actions, repeated and multiplied, composes an ecosystem that sustains forests, meadows, and even the very soil beneath your garden. Now, let your mind gently contemplate another quiet fact. Fungi are ancient. Their fossil record stretches back hundreds of millions of years. They were part of Earth's early experiments with life on land, shaping soils and supporting the earliest plants. When you imagine moss and primitive forests, imagine also the silent mycelium beneath, making soil hospitable, collecting nutrients, and preparing a stage for the long drama of terrestrial life. In some ways, fungi were the Earth's original cooperators, building networks that allowed plants to flourish and the web of life to expand. As the night deepens, the forest breathes in its slow living ways. Mycelium continues to work in the dark. Spores still drift, tiny weathered travelers searching for new soil. Some mushrooms have finished their brief above-ground performances and dissolve back into the earth, their matter becoming food for roots and microbes. Life cycles continue in a quiet, looping rhythm. There is no rush. There is only the patient unfolding of time. If you enjoyed this evening's gentle journey, you can always come back for more nighttime knowledge, more quiet stories of nature, science, and wonder to help you drift gently into rest. There are endless rooms to explore, from the ocean's slow dances to sitar-filled skies, from the tiny electrical sparks of the brain to the slow architecture of coral reefs. Each story is another soft step toward calm. And now, as your thoughts drift softly like spores through the quiet night, the Nighttime Knowledge Channel wishes you a peaceful, deep, and restorative sleep. May your dreams be gentle, your mind calm, and your rest complete. Let your breathing fall into a slow and steady rhythm. Let the forest and fungi and mycelial threads cradle you in their patience. Let sleep come like rain, quiet and nourishing. Good night, dear listener, and sleep well.